Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we are taking a look at potentially another financial mistake on my behalf. I have bought a BMW 1 Series Coupe from auction. You would have thought I'd learnt my lesson from previous experiences where I've done that cheaply and then the timing belt snapped and it was not economical to repair it and I just had to scrap it. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here. But I've done it again. I saw a potentially cheap 1 Series Coupe. It's a 120D, it's manual, it's all the right things other than the fact that it's a CAT D write-off. And yeah, I just couldn't help myself. I thought it might have been a good car to sell from the farm. I probably should have paid a bit more attention to the mechanical report. And I don't know, we'll do a vehicle score check in a minute. We'll find out whether I should have been more cautious in regards to the category write-off in the past, but who knows? I paid £800 plus fees, about £1,000. Let's look what that buys you at British Car Auctions. So yeah, I bought this at BCA from Bristol on 137,978 miles for £800 plus the fees, which makes it a grand total of £1,020 and 30 pence. It did have a BCA essential check where the AA kind of checks the car over and tells you what they found. I probably should have paid more attention to this if it will ever load. On our report, it tells us that the engine is smoking, the coolant level has a warning light, the engine oil level has a warning light, engine oil level low and engine coolant low. So hopefully the head gasket hasn't gone on this, but we will check that out as we go around. Before we go too much further though, we ought to do a vehicle score report, and I think I'm going to do the ultimate report and find out if there's any more information on exactly what happened to this car when it was a category D write-off. So I'm going to put in our reg, which is Oscar Echo 57 Whiskey Zulu Golf. So let's find out what its score is first. It's going to give us a score from 1 to 999 based on its MOT history, on how good it thinks this car is. Our car scores 333, which is below average. So we can scroll down to our score insights and find out what it's saying about this car. So looking good, long-term owner, recent MOT pass rate is high, average yearly mileage is perfect, bad bits, over 20 comments on the recent MOTs, the vehicle's over 10 years old, and the mileage is above 100,000. If we scroll down, it'll tell us information about the car. It's a 2008, it's a 2-litre diesel, the road tax is £135 a year, and the last MOT change was 26 months ago. We look at the yearly mileage, it tells us that it has dropped off in the last couple of years, but on average it's 9,000 miles a year. It even tells us common problems to look out for: water pump failure. Interesting considering what this one's saying. Fuel injector problems, turbo issues. MOT history we can look at, and we see that it was last MOT'd 8th of December 2022, so it's got MOT until December this year. And the only advisory was oil leak, but not excessive. So actually, not too bad at all. The MOT pass rate is 80%, and the mileage tracker shows us that it's consistently gone up or stayed the same, hasn't dipped down at any point, showing obvious signs of the car having been clocked. Now, as always, with Vehicle Score, you can do either their Salvage Plus report, which will tell you whether this car's been written off in the past. We already know it has. But if you were to use the ultimate report, it's going to give you as much information as possible: finance records, unrecorded write-offs, salvage checks, ex-taxi checks, whether it is ex-police or ambulance, etc., import and export checks. It'll even tell you whether this car is considered high risk by the police. The ultimate report is only £8.97. If we use our promo code SHIFTINGMetal15, we will get 15% off. Right, so there's our certificate come through. It costs us £7.62, including the shifting metal discount, so make sure you use that. If we go through, we've got green ticks for certificate of destruction, no outstanding finance. For the insurance write-off, there's an amber warning light, no mileage anomalies, not a high-risk vehicle, no colour change, it's had plate changes, no salvage record, not stolen, not an ex-taxi, not scrap, not an import, and not an export. And it also tells us number of owners, 10. Guess that's quite a lot, but again, it is also a 16-year-old car, so not all that much. We scroll down to the part about the insurance write-off. It tells us that it was a Category D and it happened on the 5th of February 2015. I don't think there's any pictures of this one, which means it may well have not gone for a salvage kind of auction, or it predates when those kind of records were being kept. And as there isn't anything else to report, there's no other information there. But we can email this report to ourselves, and that is about one of the cheapest ways you can get a vehicle history check in the UK currently. Right, as usual then, we'll have a look around the car, kind of check it out objectively, see if we can see where there might have been some damage for this write-off, and yeah, generally have a look at what I've bought. So this corner, to my untrained eye, looks okay. The bumper and headlight, maybe not the best fit, and in fact this bumper feels quite plasticky and flimsy, so I wonder if that's a replacement aftermarket one. Don't know, don't quote me on that, but it could be. We've got another iLink on here. They're getting quite popular these days. It's got a good 6 or 7 mil tread. I quite like these alloys, to be honest. They could do with a good clean. They have got a few marks in them that could do with at least touching up, and some centre caps would really freshen that up as well. We've got clear indicator there, which I don't think that would have been standard. It might have been, I'm not sure, but we've got black trims. I don't know whether they've been wrapped or someone's replaced them, or maybe it is a standard feature, I don't know, but I would have expected that to be chrome. But we've got black ones, which I think suits the car in this dark grey with the dark wheels quite well. Nothing too much to report down this side of the car. There's a few chips it could do with a good polish, but nothing drastic. This wheel doesn't even have a BMW centre cap. It's got a Fox Motorsport, so I guess that's who's made these wheels. I can't tell how much of this is actually curb marks and how much is just mud. I think that's tyre soap actually on there. What tyre have we got? This one's an iSunny, and it also has absolutely tons of tread, although less so in the middle. I'd say it's about 5 mil. The wheel on the whole doesn't look too bad. I think we're getting, not too bad actually. I was going to say low on the pads, but the pads look like they've probably got 6 or 7 mil on there, and there's not too much of a lip. I just think maybe this hasn't been driven a lot recently because there's a bit of surface corrosion on the discs. Head in round the back. This corner looks all right. Nothing obvious telling me that it's been repainted or anything like that. You can see we've got parking sensors. We've got a not so great window tint going on the back with some air bubbles in it, and that is a very dark tint limo. I'm not a massive fan of that, to be honest. Our third brake light is well and truly broken. Hopefully that's a cheap part to buy on eBay. I imagine it would be. Our number plates are looking cracked and pretty faded and worn out and rubbish, to be honest. A new set of those would brighten that up a lot. So our exhaust tip looking like a bit sooty, but not too bad. There's certainly no signs of like real smoke and soot coming up the back bumper, so that's got to be a good sign considering the health report on this car. Again, another corner that looks okay. A couple of little marks here, some little chips that probably, there's a couple little scratch there, and there's like almost like a little V-shaped scratch there. And I think someone's tried to touch that in and make it look better, and they've made it look worse. This wheel has got more damage than any of the ones we've seen so far. It's kind of curved all the way around here and up the spokes as well. And this tyre is, well, I think it's an RS. It's an RS1. That is a Sunwide RS1. So again, 3 wheels, 3 different tyres so far. Pretty much similar story with the rear brakes on here. And yeah, similar sort of tread as well. I'd say 5 or 6 mil. So definitely illegal. Legal, that is, not illegal. Coming down this side, we have got a bit of scratching going on here, which is not going to polish out, sadly, because you can catch that with your fingernail. It's gone through the lacquer and into the base coat, but we could probably make it look a lot better. Also a weird one that's come up here as well. Wasn't sure if that was just a light reflection, but no, there's definitely some kind of scuff that's gone on there, which is weird, but we could definitely polish that up, make it look a lot better. Our other indicator is dangling out of the car. The little clips have gone brittle and broken off. You probably quite easily fix that with just a bit of double-sided tape, number plate tape or something. Would sort that out on a car like this. This sort of value is nothing too much to worry about. It's quite a common thing, to be honest. Then our other front wheel. This is the one you'd expect to be the worst, and it is, frankly, only just worse than the other near side wheel, but a few chips out here, curbed all the way around. These would definitely benefit from a clean up. Now these discs on the front look quite corroded. It's only surface corrosion really, but they've probably got more meat on them than the rear brakes, to be honest. This disc's got a bit of a lip on it, but it's definitely got more pad than it has on the back. And this one is an Avon. Again, wow, even more tread actually. This one's probably got 6 or 7 mil of tread on it. So yeah, 4 wheels, 4 different tyres. This is someone who really wanted to have nothing but the best for this car. Again, that bumper and headlight doesn't seem to fit quite right. Something about these headlights tells me that they are aftermarket as well. They just look a bit too crisp and new to be the original ones in this 16-year-old car. If you look at the bonnet and the front wing here, the panel gap is pretty good all the way down, but get down here and it's pinching up close. And this side has got a fairly consistent panel gap. So something weird has happened there. And if you were to shift it across to the left, it's going to close up that other side, so it would never fit right, which makes me think that it's down to this bumper. I think this car's probably had a little bit of a front bump. Probably just the bumper, maybe the headlights. They've put new black kidney grills in as well. And to be fair, they haven't done a bad job. It also wants another plate on the front to kind of freshen it up. Maybe a little spray over some of the stone chips. But for the value of it, for £1,000 car, I'm not knocking it. As I keep getting told, people keep saying, God, what do you expect for whatever? Why is he slating it? I'm not slating it. I'm not. I'm just saying what it is. We're just looking at it and evaluating it. Right, well, that's the outside, so let's have a look inside. We got our classic BMW key, one that goes in the dashboard. I think our central lock-in all works. So let's hop in, see what we've got. So, M Sport kickboards going along there. We've got an M Sport steering wheel as well, so I assume this is an M Sport model. We've even got an M Sport gear knob. It's like a half leather, half cloth interior. This bottom bolster here has started to flake away. That's a bit of a shame, but what can you expect for this age and mileage? It wants a good vacuum, as most things do when they come into us, but on the whole, it doesn't look too bad in there, I don't think, from what I've seen so far. As I open this door, I did see someone's old fag butt roll around. That's pretty grim. I probably shouldn't touch that without gloves on, but I think they have cut it cleanly. Whether it's been used or not, I don't know, but it can go back in there. It doesn't smell smoky though, so it's interesting. Oh, they're quite a nice place to... Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't spotted that before, but our rear view mirror definitely needs some attention. We'll have a look at that in a minute. I do quite like these interiors. They just feel sporty, small, compact. These seats actually feel very compact. And they feature, I don't know if Toby will better hear, but they come with a compressor which pumps up the side bolsters. If I pump this all the way up and literally chop myself into a round of sausages, we'll pump it all the way up and then you should be able to hear it like deflate when you let it down. I remember when I got my first E92 335i, it was like my dream car at the time, and I found out that it had this on it. I thought it was like something from NASA. I don't know why, but I particularly like that it pumps up. So the Mercedes do a similar sort of thing as well. Yeah, sort of thing I play around forever. Unfortunately, these days I need it fully deflated just in order to be in the seat properly. We've got a nice M Sport steering wheel. Shame that it's cracked and looks like elephant skin. Jordan could do a nice refurbishment on that. He's got like a paste that he can put in, sand it flat, recolor it, and that would make that a lot nicer because that is looking grim. It's nice that we got a manual gearbox in one of these because people want to be doing mad skids in them and things. So that will appeal to more people than an automatic in this, I think, especially at this mileage. We have got our climate control, no sat nav. We've got a CD player, which will have an auxiliary port somewhere in the center console, I think. Yeah, we've got an auxiliary port in there with a very smeggy looking, someone's USB cigarette lighter thing. We've got a little cubby hole in the center here, which has... What's that, a torture device? That looks like something like for flaring something. I assume it's for girls' hair. That's something for an air freshener type thing. So we've got that. That's a very nice bonus. I notice we have got a stop-start button there. What have we got in the glove box? Oh, we have got a service book and owner's manuals. Oh, what is that in there? Is that another key? Jesus. Is that a genuine BMW bit of kit? I don't know. It's like a multi-spanner. I'm not convinced that is, to be honest, but we've got all of our original sort of owner's manuals and our service booklet. Now that's the sort of service booklet to me that looks somewhat suspicious, but if we compare it, no, I think that is just how it looks. You can buy those sort of reproduction service books online. People will put with their car when they're trying to sell it and get the best money for it. But sometimes you can just tell from the quality. This does look like that sort of thing, but if it is a fake one, it's a good one. Let's have a look what we've got in here anyway. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 service stamps. The last 2 were handwritten. And interestingly, the drive belt was changed at 134,000 miles in 2017, apparently. Well, it's only on 138,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure this is a chain. So they've done well to change the drive belt, haven't they? It goes along with my theory of this being a bit suspicious. It goes from 24,000 to 36,000, 43,000, 58,000, 66,000, 76,000 to 134,000. So there was a big gap there of 60,000 miles. And then it's gone to 157,000 kilometres, they put that in. Well, it's only on 138,000 miles, so maybe it was in kilometres, and that's why. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it was serviced 147 kilometres, and that means it hasn't been serviced for quite a while. I don't know, but I'm not putting a lot of faith in this service book, to be honest with you. It looks pretty good in the back. There's some weird kind of smegma on the side of the seat headrest thing here, but we'll have a look in the boot. Before we do, we'll try and refit this. I wonder if there's a reason why it's off. These have got a bit of a twist lock to them, I think. Didn't you smash your windscreen trying to put a rear view mirror back on, Toby? No. You got any tips for me? I imagine if this was really easy, someone would have done it, but...
One eternity later.
Okay, we'll leave that to someone else. Right, in the boot. Oh, we've still got our warning triangle, or at least I assume that's in there. These are normally... Yeah, it is in there. These, 9 times out of 10 on a BMW of this sort of age, or any German car of this sort of age, have gone walkabouts. A couple of pretty ropey looking floor mats. In fact, we've got a full set. Ones that go in the back as well. We've got our 2 little pockets on the side here. What have we got under our floor? Not much. We've got a towing eye, loose. We've got a golf tee, very handy. And a random bolt, just kicking around down there. Old fag wrappers and stuff like that, but nothing very interesting. Quite a dinky little boot really on these. I suppose it is a dinky little car. You can still get a couple of suitcases in there, but yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, am I being unfair? It's quite large. I probably could climb in there. I'm not going to, it's too hot today. For a very small coupe, this must be competing with hatchbacks, I suppose. It's not a bad size. Right, let's pop the bonnet and find out what the story is under there with our coolant and oil levels. Right, well, here is our coolant bottle. Let's check that first. It's not the type that you can read on the side, so that looks bone dry. That is not a good sign, I'll be honest. Good news is there doesn't seem to be oily stuff in there. Let's take our oil cap off if we can. Alright, well, it's not looking gunky and like scrambled egg under here, so that's a good sign. It could be that, as per the vehicle score warning checklist, that maybe the water pump's gone on this and it's been leaking coolant out of the water pump. There does seem to be some kind of like signs of potential coolant, so this is definitely going to want to be looked at in the workshop. Interesting that this, some kind of air intake hose, is marked down here as BMW 120D 2010. So that would have been where it's been repaired with salvage parts, leading us to think that it probably was this front end where it had a bit of a knock in the first place. Oh. Right. Yeah, so oil level, I don't think it's even registering on there, to be honest. That is not good at all. I'm not even sure if I've got any spare oil down here. Yes. It's not looking good for this car, is it? Let's get some water, which is probably the best thing I've got here. See if we can find some oil somewhere to put in this, because probably shouldn't run it around without that. Yeah, it still wants more. That's quite a lot to put in, really. It'd be interesting to see if we've got a big puddle of water under here now. Right, that now looks at a reasonable level, but is it just pouring straight back out? Not sure. Let's find some oil. I found some 10W40 and some 10W30. Neither of those are the right oil for it. It probably wants 5W30, but combined, it's better than no oil, quite frankly. So let's see if we can't get some in there. It does look quite nice. I very much do like a 1 Series coupe. Why I keep buying them, considering they've been abused and destroyed, I don't know. Well, we are registering now. I'll probably have overfilled it now. Okay, that's at least on the minimums. We'll check that. Okay. Oh, we got to do brake as well with this one. Interesting to see how much smoke we get. There is a bit of smoke out there. Don't want to go too far in this thing, seeing as it's, ooh, fantastic CD. Quick look, see if there's a load of water under where we were just parked. No, there isn't. So let's take it for a quick, steady spin. Figure out if we think the turbo might be burning oil or what's happening. Obviously, it needs to go in the workshop really and be looked at, but I want to get an idea of what it drives like first. Sounds okay at the moment. Sounds a bit like a bit of a ghost. Ooh. Well, for all we know, the gearbox could be knackered as well. We will find out. Seems to pull quite well, and it's not leaving clouds of smoke behind, so it's mainly smoking on startup, idle. What that tells us, I don't know. It could be that there's a bit of an oil leak somewhere and it's getting into a boost pipe or something like that. I didn't think our air conditioning was working before, but actually that feels pretty ice cold. It's more than you expect from an £800 car. Oh, there's quite a lot of smoke then. We'll try and do a flyby and you can see just how much smoke's coming out and what colour. It's quite hard for me to tell through that limo rear tint, because white's coolant, right? Blue's turbo, black is fuel. I know some stuff, not just a pretty face. What did the smoke look like? Was it? Could you tell what colour it was?
I think it was white.
White.
What I saw.
So essentially, that should be like a coolant leak, but I don't think it's always as black and white as that, is it? It seems to be getting less smoky as we drive on, and other than that, it actually drives really well for 140,000 miles. Everything still feels pretty tight. It seems to pull quite well. and smokes at the higher revs a little bit, maybe some white smoke. Knowing my luck, it'll probably start running on its own oil in a minute and we'll have a runaway diesel, which has happened to me before with Mercedes. I've never had that happen to me in a BMW, so fingers crossed it doesn't happen now. Everything seems to work. Oh, I didn't mention before we got in, I have fixed the rear view mirror as well. I didn't get it on camera sadly, but I used a bit of brute force and ignorance, and that is now attached. It's just a bit of a technique to getting these on, which is to twist them on, not to push them on. If you push them on, you'll do what Toby did and just smash his windscreen out. Using his Hulk strength, he just mashed the windscreen out. So yeah, normally they twist on to some kind of metal part that is bonded onto the glass, it's not coming off. Now the smokiness seems to have cleared up, but obviously it is using oil or losing oil one way or another, and it is using or losing coolant as well, so we need to get this in the workshop. We're probably not going to do that in this video. This video is just a look at what I've bought, what an idiot type of video, and we need to get it out fairly quickly. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at shifting_metal, and I will do an update on there, because I think this car is worthy of being checked out. I think for a good valet, polish up, and maybe a little, you know, bodge refurb on the alloy wheels, it's going to look 10 times better. This sort of car's got to be really appealing for a lot of people. It's a coupe for a start. It's attractive, I think. It looks sporty. Most importantly, it's rear-wheel drive, which means that you can have a little bit of sideways fun if you are still young at heart, which I like to think I am. And I happen to own a Field, so I'm probably going to put it in there and see if I can slide it around and have some fun. Don't tell my girlfriend, she will go mental, because that's grass for her horses, but you know, she doesn't watch my videos, so it's fine. So there we have it. It seems to have stopped smoking. There obviously is things we need to check out there, but it's still good fun. And yeah, I'm a big fan of these, so I'm hoping we can save it, maybe make some money out of it. What have I spent? £1,000 on it. It's got to be £2,000 to someone, hasn't it? It all depends on how much we've got to spend in the meantime. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. You'll find out what happens there. But that aside, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's free to do, and it will really help me out. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And other than that, I'll see you next time.